Joining us for this evening's Transgender Day of Remembrance. Before diving into this evening's program, I would like to acknowledge that here in Ventura County, we are in occupied Chumash territory, and that no matter where you go in these continents called America, you are standing on stolen Indigenous peoples' lands. It is important that we not only acknowledge whose lands we are on, but also work to honor the living Indigenous communities among us. Diversity Collective was founded by a small but mighty group of Ventura County leaders in 2014 in order to bring back the Ventura County Pride Festival. 6 years later, we are still strong and mighty, and we have grown to include Ventura County Pride, AIDS Walk Ventura County, World AIDS Day, Pride Prom, as well as programming such as Rainbow Umbrella for youth ages 13 to 23, Little Unicorns for children 9 to 13, monthly free and confidential HIV rapid testing, as well as LGBTQ cultural competency trainings. We are an organization that advocates for the LGBTQ community and those affected by HIV and AIDS in Ventura County, including our trans siblings. Tonight, you are here in community with us as we remember those in the trans community that we lost to violence in 2020. We wish we could be together physically, but for now, we shall be together apart. Transgender Day Remembrance was founded in 1999 by Gwendolyn Ann Smith, a transgender woman, to memorialize the murder of trans woman Rita Hester in Allston, Massachusetts. It has slowly evolved from the web-based project started by Smith into an international day of action. I would like to thank this year's Transgender Day of Remembrance Committee that made this evening's event possible, including Diversity Collective staff Mo Gonzalez, as well as Ken Barrow, as well as our volunteer committee, Celia Daniels, Kaden Wild, Unique Doughton, and Shahar G. Trans bodies have always been on the front lines of the LGBTQ movement. Unfortunately, we saw Black trans women murdered in a record number in 2020 due to transphobia, misogyny, fear, and hate. Our trans women deserve better. Our Black trans women deserve so much better. I would like to close with this. With certain beadwork pieces in Indigenous communities, the beads are beaded with ancestors in mind. The final piece is a way to carry those ancestors with us during our day-to-day lives. Tonight, especially as we read through the names of those in the trans community that we have lost, I invite you to take those names and carry them with you in your day-to-day lives. May we always strive and work for a better, loving, and inclusive tomorrow for all. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sandy Gomez. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I oversee the LGBTQ program housed at Coalition for Family Harmony. I wanted to take a few moments to talk about the different mental wellness services that we offer at Coalition, especially in light of Transgender Day of Remembrance happening today. Starting with counseling, we are able to offer 10 free counseling sessions to anyone that identifies as part of the LGBTQ+ community and their support system, which is really important. We also offer 10 free counseling sessions to anyone that's been affected by sexual violence or has been affected by online romance scams. We also have 10 free counseling sessions to anyone that identifies as part of the Black community. Our counseling is low cost and on a sliding scale. All of our therapists are continuously undergoing cultural sensitivity training and embrace a trauma-informed approach. In terms of clinical support groups, we have a clinical support group for transgender adults, a gender diverse youth group for youth ages 13 to 18, and an LGBTQ support group for adults. Anyone interested in either the counseling or the clinical support groups can reach out to us Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. minus the lunch hour at 805-983-6014, and you will be connected to our navigation team. They can provide an intake over the phone and then connect you with the counselor and or facilitator for the group you're interested in. We want to let you know that you're not alone. We currently have our LGBTQ program therapists on standby for any crisis counseling that you may be in need of, someone to listen to you, to help you process. Be on the lookout for those QR codes that will connect you directly to one of our therapists for crisis counseling between now and 9:30 p.m. So again, please be on the lookout for those QR codes. Please know that you're not alone, and please take care.
Hi, and welcome to this special evening. My name is Celia Sandhya Daniels. I go by she, her, and they, them pronouns. Today is such an important day for all of us. The Transgender Day of Remembrance was started in the year 1999 by a trans advocate, Gwendolyn Ann Smith, as a vigil to honor the memory of Rita Hester, a transgender woman who was killed in the year 1998. The vigil commemorated all the trans people who lost to violence since Rita Hester's death and began an important tradition that has become the annual Transgender Day of Remembrance. Tonight, we have our amazing community partner resources, pictures, visual arts from our trans community, and poems dedicated to our fallen siblings. We also have a few trans leaders and special video performances. We will also be having a list of resources from tonight's guests, community partners, and those who could not be a part of the event. It will be available at the diversitycollectivevc.org. We all hope that you will have a meaningful night reflecting on your life and how we can empower each other and be a positive impact to our community. I want to talk a little bit about myself, and I want to share why this day is so important to me. I'm an Asian Indian, I'm a parent, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a musician, and I'm an activist. But I've also lived half my life in India and half my life in this country. I've gone through a lot of discrimination growing up as a child who was confused with my gender. My gender wasn't doing justice to my anatomy. When I was 4 years old, I came out to my parents, but unfortunately, it didn't go very well. My parents couldn't understand what I was dealing with, and they thought it was cute, but they asked me to not dress up in women's clothes. My life started from there, and I was always living in the closet. I didn't want to come out because I was so ashamed of myself. I was ashamed, I was scared of being bullied. And every morning I would wake up pretending to be a boy. I would always think about how much I need to pretend today to be a boy so that nobody would see the femininity in me. The lot of mental struggles and some of the trauma that we go through, people don't understand. Even my own family did not understand. After growing in a community like that, I really wanted to come out when I was in my 9th grade. I went outside for the first time, and I remember being publicly humiliated by the community over there. They caught hold of me and they just stood around me and started making fun of me. I stood there for a while, not able to understand why people would make fun of a young child, just being so vulnerable at the time. I could see hate. At that moment, I realized that that's probably the day that I'm not going to see the sunlight again. And I remember they were so angry, they were so close to me, and they wanted to drag me to my parents. And I didn't know what they were going to do to me that night. I spoke in a different language and I walked away from that day. But the trauma that hit me during that incident led me to a point where I lost my hope to survive, the meaning to live in this planet. And I started seeking death. I wanted to die. And I tried killing myself, but unfortunately I was so afraid to die. I was afraid to live as well. There are a lot of trans people whose lives are in danger. They've gone through so much in life. I remember in 2011, I was invited to a Transgender Day of Remembrance event in West Hollywood. I stood in the end of the auditorium and I was watching. I didn't have any friends at the time. I was just watching the names of the trans folks who died that year. And my heart was just pounding each time the names were read. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and I was thinking in my mind as to why would someone kill another human being just because they're different. I could not, for the love of God, understand the amount of hate that existed. That hate always continued. And when I spoke to my friends, they said this has been happening in US. Unfortunately, they don't kill a trans person in India if they don't like them. They probably discriminate you. But I couldn't understand why would they kill a trans person if they don't like them. It's because of the fragment of hate that exists in every hateful human being. I could not understand why these numbers won't go down. Over the years, probably just 25 trans folks were killed, 27 last year, this year around 34. But unfortunately, these are the numbers where they have identified them as trans folks. A lot of people, though they have lived in the closet, they've been murdered, but they were never known. They may have been living in the closet because they didn't want to come out in the society. And when they lose their lives, when they are killed, sometimes their stories are never heard. There may be more than 40 or 50 folks who've been murdered this year. We don't even know. But those are the stories we want to reflect upon this night, today. It's such a special night for me because this night I want to celebrate the lives of people who are struggling. As I was struggling as a child, I came to a point where I realized that I can no longer just walk happily, but I really need to tell my story. I really need to tell the stories of the fallen ones. And we are here as a community because we all of us have a story. And that is what we're going to do. We want our voices to be heard. We want this light to shine brightly through the darkness of hate and discrimination in our society. We want this light, our voices, the poems, the art, our performances, the community resources, all of them. We want every one of us to join hands today and celebrate this night. It's a special night for you. It's a special night for all of us. We want to thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for listening to my story. And I'm going to always be an activist. I'm going to always let this light shine through the darkness, not just in this country, but across the world. And that's what we want to do. Let's join hands together and celebrate this day. And remember the lives of our trans and gender non-binary siblings who have lost their lives. Let's take a deep breath. If you have someone next to you, just hold them. Or just hold yourself dearly to your heart. And let's go through this beautiful evening. We have 3 community resources today. We have Pastor Melissa from All Saints Episcopal Church in Oxnard. We have Tay Tunnel, Transitional Age Youth. And we have New Beginnings, who does counseling for trans and gender non-binary individuals.
Hello, I am Pastor Melissa. You are proudly proclaiming the you have inside, and that is awesome. Our church has a ritual for claiming of a new name. You can contact me if you want to set up a ritual to mark this journey towards wholeness. I'm at All Saints Todos Los Santos, and I can be reached at 805-483-2347, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at All Santos Oxnard and send me a message. Blessings.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anthony, and I work with Pacific Clinic's Tate Tunnel. The Tate Tunnel empowers individuals to take an active role in creating positive lifestyle changes within a supportive, safe, and understanding environment. By creating stepping stones to independent living, we can all light the path to a happier and healthier life. We're made possible through the California Mental Health Services Act and Ventura County Behavioral Health. So during the pandemic, we offer virtual support by trained professionals with lived experience. So we help with employment, housing, and getting linked to physical and behavioral health care. And we offer these services via phone, email, or Zoom. And also we have classes that can assist with overall wellness and life skills 6 days a week. At our office, we offer Monday, Wednesday, and Friday appointments between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to be able to take a shower, use the computer, do laundry, use the kitchen, and be able to pick up any mail you get sent to us, care packages, clothing. We do require that you wear a mask and get your temperature checked before you come in, as well as social distance. And if you do not have access to any mask, let us know and we'll be able to provide one for you. So as you can see, we have our care packages on the very left, which consist of different hygiene supplies, wipes, toothbrush, toothpaste, pads, tampons, soap, we have water bottles, deodorant. If there's something you require, let us know and we'll see how we can get it for you. And as you also can see, we have our computers, kitchen, and we have a private shower/laundry room, so you'll be able to lock the door behind you when you're in there. And we offer classes 6 days a week. Classes can be an artistic expression class, which is creative expression. Our RAP classes, which is the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, helps us to understand how do we care for ourselves, coping skills, triggers when things are starting to get bad, as well as Taste Spectrum, which is our LGBTQ plus group. We talk about advocacy, issues in the community, or even just being an ally. And definitely, if you also want a little more information, you can talk live with the staff once a week on our virtual presentation day. So call the center 805-240-2538 to be able to get the Zoom ID and password. And join our private Facebook group. We have some classes posted to give examples, community resources, and give us a call, again, 805-240-2538. You can also text us at 626-701-0554, and be sure to let us know what you need, and we'll be able to assist you with that, all right? Thanks. Take care.
Welcome to the New Beginning Center. We're so glad to again participate in Transgender Day of Remembrance. I'm Sean Baker, co-owner and executive director. As a trans man and trans advocate, I'm grateful to be part of creating a gender-affirming mental health care center for our LGBTQ+ community. We understand that we all need community. We all need to be a part of a tribe. And in order to heal, we need to feel seen, and our nervous system needs to feel safe. At the center, we offer an intensive outpatient program and an array of outpatient services, most of which are being delivered via telehealth. These services are designed to heal our nervous system, restore well-being and balance. We work closely with Dr. Jake Donaldson and other medical providers to support our clients' gender-confirming journeys. We have an incredible team of practitioners, most of whom are working from home these days. I'd like to introduce one of our practitioners, Melanie Moyer, whose passion and commitment to our LGBTQ youth and adults is heart-centered and frankly inspiring. Melanie leads our Rainbow Resilience group and can tell you more. Thanks, Melanie.
Hello and welcome to the New Beginning Center. My name is Melanie Moyer. I'm an associate marriage and family therapist here at New Beginnings. I am comfortable with she, her pronouns and identify as gender fluid and pansexual. As Sean said, I lead the LGBTQ+ teen group, Rainbow Resilience. This group offers our local teens an inclusive, safe space in which they can show up authentically and be witnessed, supported, validated, and held in the magnificence and fullness of both their gender identities and sexual orientations without judgment. The permission that I observe in this group for members to be fully authentic with one another is awe-inspiring to me. I am proud to host this group, which also teaches DBT skills of emotional regulation, distress tolerance, interpersonal effectiveness, and mindfulness. I am also available for individual therapy, couples, and family work. Thank you for this opportunity to advocate for our population, and enjoy your Transgender Day of Remembrance. Sean?
Thank you, Diversity Collective and the Todor Planning Team, for creating a way to foster community and to honor the loved ones we sadly lost this past year. We stand together to be seen together. Namaste.
Thank you so much for those valuable resources. We are glad you can offer such amazing services to our community. So throughout the show tonight, you would have seen a call to action. Don't celebrate us after we are gone. Celebrate us while we're alive. This is what we are most focused on. The first top says blank while I'm still here, which means you can put your own words there. I have said, stand up for me while I'm still here. A few of you might have written what appeals to you the most. So this is what we want you to do. The call for action. It's the call to empower and support our trans community while we are still alive. Next, we are going to listen to Caden Wiles' love letter poem, accompanied by images that were sent from the members of our community. Caden is a trans and disabled spoken word poet, artist, and a local activist.
The reprise. This was already an apocalypse. It has been repeating like a reprise, a choral anecdote resoundingly rewritten in the echo of empty bodies, like, I know the guts are there, but the life is gone. How does one cast a shadow big enough to obscure death? Make a contrived martyr, the ultimate reprisal of a bastardized role. I don't believe in martyrdom because I don't believe in reducing the taking of a life to a teaching moment. And if I say that, which I just did, if it's going to be said at all, we should speak plainly. To my trans siblings, I didn't know you, but I know you. I know the weapon to your body like I knew the weapon to mine, and I know your life leaving like mine was inches from the light because it was that night. And they name it accident on purpose. They doctor their own version, but the sun saw my face in the morning, and the moon mourns your unwaking eyelids. There is nothing more factual or absolute than death. And this compels me to forge you an unending flame, a poem, a controlled burn, fashioned to reflect the chaos of your last breath, like the earth itself choking. I am not a violent person, but the spirit of Stonewall is. Fight back. I would have summoned Marsha for the strength to throw a brick or my body if it meant a gun on the ground instead of a bullet in your flesh, if it meant we both get to live. And to our cis white supremacist oppressors, I will not mince words. Whether you can swallow this or not is up to how much you're willing to chew on it. At this point, this is a purge, like, when there's nothing in your stomach but acid. My thoughts burning as I force them up and out for you to eat, so eat them. Yes, it is disgusting, this meal you've made, this table you've set, but I am done tenderizing the truth. It is regressive. I want to burn their faces into your memory like they are in mine. But wait, slow down. You're talking too fast for me to argue with you. Don't be so angry. Honey, I can't keep holding my tongue, waiting for you to catch up, because for us to be silent is like holding our breath and waiting for you to say you can breathe now. I do not live and die by your command, and I will not argue fact with you. This was already an apocalypse. It has been repeating like a reprise, waiting for you to finally hit the beat and sing with us.
Kaden, that was so powerful. That was so powerful. Thank you so much for those meaningful words. Every word spoke to us. Thank you. Thank you so much for that point. Next, we're going to play a video and a song that I put together for this day, Transgender Day of Remembrance. And it has certain trigger warnings that I want to give you a heads up about. Sometimes trans folks go through this almost on a daily basis. It might be hard to watch, but those are the struggles we go through. This song is about love and law, especially when we have love. Laws don't matter. We don't need laws to erase us. The song talks about that. And these words of the songs are so important. When we watch this song, we also want to celebrate people who have gone through difficulties. I hope the song will be meaningful and it will touch your heart.
Transgender woman brutally attacked in Texas last month was found shot and killed over the weekend. Video from April's assault shows several men beating the woman in a Dallas.
I was driving home that night. A girl came running towards the light. Blood was running down her face. She cried, "This earth is not my place. Never deserved to die." She was only 25. I couldn't cry, I couldn't scream. Late that night, I had a dream. Woke up in the heaven, I saw her standing there. Hope said she'll never make it. Couldn't see him anywhere. Life is fading away, fading away. Dreams you're chasing today soon pass away. Loss can never change your heart. Only love can do. It can never heal the hurt. Only love can do. Love can do. To live, afraid to die. I was ashamed, but I couldn't lie. Born with a different gender, our lives are human splendor. Ignorance cannot erase values of the human race. Life is fading away, today, soon pass away. Loss can never change your heart, only love can do. Hate can never heal the hurt, only love can do. Oh, life is fading away, fading away. Dreams you're chasing today, soon pass away. Loss can never change your heart, only love can do. Hate can never heal the hurt, only love can do. Love can do.
We live in Ventura County where you have close to 30,000 LGBTQ folks living in our community. There are lots of trans and gender non-binary who are still struggling to come out. We are living in a community that has still not fostered the environment for gender non-binary folks to be accepted in workplaces and even in schools and colleges. We are living in a very tight community that is always segregating people. It's so important for us not to be segregated. When human mind doesn't understand the way people are evolving, they try to put you in these boxes. They try to categorize you as a trans person, and they don't look at all your intersectionalities that you carry with you. You can be a creative artist, you can be a musician, you can be a performer, but still they look at only one aspect of your life and they start discriminating you. They start hating you because you're just that part of it. They have not understood the meaning of intersectionalities. When we look at so many issues today we have in our world, even across the globe, we have so many issues that are relating to trans folks. More than probably, I would say, 200 trans people were just killed this year. We don't even have numbers. Last year it was around 160. But if we live in a world which is so hateful, and they don't want us to exist. They have this kind of hatred. We live in a community where we can change the community. All of us need to tell our stories. We need to talk, and we need to show our visibility. We need to hold these plaques and say that I am here. I want to make a change. Please be my ally. Your parents are your allies, your friends are your allies, your professor is your ally, your teacher is your ally, your boss is your ally. And that's the kind of change we want to bring in our community here. And I know that that's going to make a huge difference when trans people are being marginalized. We live in this day and age where we don't know, the governments keep coming and moving to the next government. We don't know how things are going to be in the next years. But what change we want to bring in needs to last for years and years to come. And I know that we are all in this together. So this is such an important night for us. We need to hold each other's hands, grab each other's hands, and just give them a hug virtually. We are not next to each other. I know COVID has been so hard on so many of us. It's been such a difficult time for us, especially when you're going through mental health challenges. I had so much of difficulty even coming out to my wife, even further. I kept coming out and I kept coming out, and there were times when I didn't even know how to respond because I was just shutting down, and I knew my mental health was actually creeping up and I didn't know how to react to her. And now I'm learning to cope with it. I have an accepting family. And I know even if you're struggling alone tonight, I just want you to know that we are in this together. This is a night where we remember all the fallen siblings. At the same time, we want to remember each and every one of us like our own blood, across the world, across the globe. So this is such an important night for us to celebrate the lives, and also we will celebrate that such things will never happen in 2021 or ever, forever. We don't want this happening. This is so important for us. Let's remember the Transgender Day of Remembrance. That this is probably the last Transgender Day of Remembrance where we will be thinking about trans siblings who have fallen. It should always be about, well, we are here. Let's celebrate this. Let's turn into a time of celebration going forward. We have two more resources. One is from the therapist, Sharon Beck, and PFLAG.
Hi, I'm Sharon Beck, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker with a private practice in Camarillo. I work with transgender and gender nonconforming adults and have been doing so since 2014. I have experience writing letters for surgeries and for hormones. I am a huge advocate for transgender people and have been involved in a number of organizations, including Conejo Valley Pride. I was on the inaugural board in 2018 as the secretary, and I also have been involved with Models of Pride, which takes place in LA for LGBTQ youth. I co-lead a support group for parents of transgender children and youth. And I currently, in my private practice, accept Medicare insurance, and I also provide a sliding scale. My contact information is first my cell phone, which is 805-603-0722. I also have an email if you prefer to contact me through that. It is office@sharonlbeck.lcsw.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you're doing well and have a fantastic day. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, we're Ventura PFLAG. We support parents, friends, and loved ones of LGBTQ community members in Ventura. My name is Brooke Masters. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am currently serving as the Ventura chapter facilitator and board treasurer. And I started working with PFLAG in September of 2016 after several years of working with LGBTQ youth in Ventura County. I wanted to provide support to the support structures for our LGBTQ community members. And I keep coming back because it's an awesome group of folks who want to become better allies for their loved ones and who are willing to share their experiences to help others get there as well. So I'm going to introduce a couple of our board members. I'll start with our board president, Carrie Newley.
Hi, my name is Carrie Newley, and I'm the board president for Ventura County or Ventura chapter of PFLAG. I started coming to PFLAG in 2016, shortly after my daughter came out to us, and I was just looking for a group that could help me understand what she was going through and would understand what I was going through as her mom. What I found was just a small but powerful group of welcoming people who did understand what I was doing and did support my daughter. And I felt so supported, and I felt like I was learning so much that even when I didn't necessarily feel like I needed that ongoing support, I wanted to be that ongoing support for other families. And like I said, we're a small but mighty group. We meet monthly, and every time we find out that there is somebody who needed us there, and that's what keeps me coming back.
Awesome. Thanks, Carrie. And our board secretary, Ty.
Hi, I'm Ty Gardner, and I am the board secretary. I came to PFLAG in support of my trans daughter, who came out to us about 2.5 years ago. And I think that what I've really liked about PFLAG is this opportunity to share experiences with other parents going through similar situations, as well as to learn from them, and also to learn from some of our members of the LGBTQ community. And that learning has been really powerful, both to help understand the experiences of LGBTQ individuals, but also just to help learn as a parent how to best support my child and how to support other members of the community.
And I'm Stephanie Gardner, and we found PFLAG the week that our daughter came out to us, and we went, and I can't imagine not having that group of people to talk to each month. It made everything so much easier to understand. There was so much information and so much, but also so much caring, and it was just such a positive experience that I just wanted to keep coming back.
That's awesome. Thank you all. And we are a free resource in the community, part of a nonprofit organization. We are membership driven, but all are welcome. And we hope to see you soon. We're meeting virtually until the pandemic is over. And so you can email us at Carrie.
pflag.ventura.ca@gmail.com. And you can also find Ventura PFLAG on Facebook.
Awesome. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.
It's so important for us to have the family acceptance. And when we have youth in our community, when we have youth in schools and in colleges, it's so important to have a good allyship around them. It's so important for us to do that. Tonight, we want to highlight 2 trans leaders of color who are paving the way in their communities. Amber Va is a student of Cal State University, Long Beach, who has been a part of the GSA network leading to their advocacy within the education system. Bambi Salcido is the president and the CEO of Trans Latina Coalition, a national organization that focuses on addressing the issues of transgender Latinas in the US. Bambi's remarkable and wide-ranging activism has brought voice and visibility to not only the trans community, but also to the multiple overlapping communities and issues that her life has touched, including immigration, HIV, youth, LGBTQ, incarceration, and Latinx communities. In addition to Amber and Bambi, we want to recognize you, all our trans and gender non-conforming leaders who are showing resilience every day through your activism, your art, and just by being your authentic selves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amber Va. I use they, them, theirs. I'm from Huntington Beach, California. I am a student at California State University, Long Beach, and I am also a social rights activist with the GSA Network. The Genders and Sexuality Alliance Network, commonly known as the GSA Network, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that's aimed towards LGBTQ youth, fight against transphobia and homophobia at their schools and their communities. GSA Network is an LGBTQ, racial, and gender justice organization that empowers and trains queer, trans, and allied youth leaders to advocate, organize, and mobilize an intersectional movement for safer schools and healthier communities. You're probably wondering what inspired me to get where I am now. During my adolescence years, it's been rough for me. Not having many friends, being the only gay male at the time was hard. Attending middle school, I had been bullied and harassed by students for being Asian and LGBT. I then had some sort of identity crisis and didn't know who I was. I came to a conclusion that it's better if I just ignored their own beliefs and traditions. During that time, my family was against me being feminine and wanted me to only be masculine. I began to dig deeper into my sexual orientation and exploring my gender identity. At the time, I was a gay male and didn't learn about the transgender community until high school. My family came to the United States during the 1980s, leaving Cambodia due to the Khmer Rouge. They faced starvation, being separated, and being nearly killed for escaping the concentration camp. Seeing this trauma and what my family has gone through has inspired me to be given this fresh start in life and to not be afraid for me being me. That's when I heard about Jazz Jennings and Caitlyn Jenner on the news. During my sophomore year of high school, I came to terms as a trans woman. That's when I found out of the Genders and Sexuality Alliance Network. By joining the GSA network, I began to develop leadership and communication skills to help me become a better advocate not only for myself, but for my school and community. By being in the GSA network, they have inspired me to create my own campaign, participate in rallies, and how I can fight for LGBT and social and gender justice. With the help of GSA Network and a group of young LGBT plus students throughout Long Beach, we were able to bring gender-neutral restrooms to the school district 2 years later. Our committee has been working hard in partnership with Long Beach Unified and the Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Tiffany Brown. We were able to pull this off and begin the stage of development. This shows how dedicated the youths are to creating change to a better future. I come from a mother who'll never see me as her daughter, but I never lost hope. Having hope is all I can do now. I come from long lines of rich Cambodian ancestry who fled from Cambodia because of the Khmer Rouge and came to the States. They never lost hope, neither should I. I am a second generation Cambodian American. I am the daughter of the Khmer Rouge survivor. I am like a flower from the seed to when it blooms in season. I am optimistic. I am a fighter. I am a leader. I am a feminist. I am LGBT. I am a proud transgender woman. I am Amber, and this is my story. This story that will never change, but always be a part of me. And just to end off all my final thoughts, I just want to say the future is now. It's time to grow up and be strong. Tomorrow may well be too late. This is said by Neil LeBlue. Thank you so much for your time.
There are a multitude of different issues that affect trans Latina immigrant women. If you're an immigrant, if you're trans, if you don't speak English, and if you don't, if you don't have all of these things, then obviously the challenges are greater. The social factors that affect our community is really the lack of opportunities to obtain basic needs or services. We are pushed into participate and engage in the trade economy, like sex work, like drug use, those things that continue to criminalize us. So if a client offers more money, let's say, to have unprotected sex, more likely trans women who do not have the ability to have their basic needs met, such as, maybe food or a roof over her head at that particular moment, chances are that she will take the risk. We are the population that has the highest incidence of HIV than any other population. So I'm originally from Mexico, and I came to the United States when I was about 17 years old. It was probably around 1985 or maybe 86. And I came to live with my father, who at that time was living in Central California. I went to work, and so I was bored, lonely. I knew who I was, but I couldn't really be me. And so I decided to leave. And that's how I came to Los Angeles. I was all by myself, and I wanted to live my life authentically. And at that time, there was no services for trans people, particularly trans women. So community and resources, you will find them on the streets. Soon after I got to Los Angeles, I met this man. This man picked me up, and because I was homeless, I was, just living the street life, I went home with him. And then I began a very abusive relationship with this man. And I was with him close to 3 years. When we separated, and that's when I decided to go take a test. And my test, my diagnosis was positive. And for me, the solution was to use drugs like at a more rapid way. I sort of like went into this suicide mission, drugs and, sex and rock and roll, like they said. There was a particular moment, specifically, it was on June 6th of 2001 when I sort of like saw my life passing through my eyes. I was over 30 years old and my life was really nothing. At that particular moment, I had been using drugs, smoking crack and heroin and all of that I used to do for about 3 days, nonstop. I asked someone for some money to eat, and this African American woman gave me $5. I got me something to eat, and then I don't know how I got on a bus, and I ended up in a treatment center. When I was at this treatment center, I enrolled in a computer class to learn basic computer skills because I didn't know how to even do that. There was a position open at a social service organization doing HIV prevention, specifically targeting trans women. And from there, sort of like my career of activism sort of like started. The same year, the murder of Gwen Araujo happened. Gwen Araujo was a young trans girl who was brutally murdered in Newark, California. It sort of like woke up the beast on me. Her experience, it was the experience that I was still seeing in my community. And it also helped me reflect in my own experiences and what I could do in order to change that. That's how sort of like my career in this path of doing HIV prevention, working for immigration rights, working for trans people, LGBTQ Latinos. And because I am one of the chosen few, I want to make sure that I, in some ways, give back. I let my higher power guide me and take me to wherever I need to go. So here I am today.
I want to introduce you to a very special person, Shirley Corning, who is an amazing activist, and she is the director of Trans Alliance Ventura and also Fluid, the group that is in Simi Valley.
Good evening, and thank you for attending our Trans Day of Remembrance in Ventura County. I'm Shirley Corning, the director of the Trans Alliance Ventura, and I'm a good girl. Sadly, 2020 has already seen at least 33 transgender or gender nonconforming people fatally shot or killed by other violent means, the majority of which were Black and Latinx transgender women. We say at least because too often these stories go unreported or misreported. Since HRC began tracking this data in 2013, advocates have never seen such a high number at this point in the year, like they've set a record. These victims, like all of us, are loving partners, parents, family members, friends, and community members. They worked, went to school, and attended houses of worship. They were real people, people who did not deserve to have their lives taken from them. 5 more committed suicide, and 3 have died from COVID-19. We mourn those we have lost in 2020. We may never be completely safe from the few so insanely hateful that they're willing to risk life in prison to kill someone they don't know or care about. But we can make it safer and reduce the number of victims. Great progress has been made in the LGBTQ plus communities over the last few decades and will continue to be made in the future. Why? Because we're not going away and we're not backing down. Visibility is an important key. The more visible we are, the more people get used to us and accept us as we are. Public acceptance went up over 40% when Caitlyn Jenner came out. I'm a walking, talking billboard for the trans community and let people know I'm trans. When they ask me how I'm doing, I often say absolutely fantastic. In the 8+ years, I've gotten very little static from the public about being trans, even in the very conservative city of Simi Valley where I live. Another factor in these hate crimes is the involvement in sex work, mostly by trans women of color. It comes as no surprise that it is extremely dangerous for trans and non-binary people to become involved in sex work, yet every year over half of them are. Why? Because they're so discriminated against in housing, employment, healthcare, etc., that they turn to sex work for survival and to support their loved ones. This can become a trap in sex work if they get arrested and prosecuted for prostitution, because then they have a criminal record and it can be even harder to get employment, etc. That's one of the reasons why SWAP USA, SWAP LA, the ACLU, and other organizations are pushing to decriminalize sex work, and I agree. If an adult of their own free will wants to engage in sex work, why should that be considered a crime? Sex trafficking, on the other hand, should always be illegal. SWAP says sex work is work. The current laws are a waste of time and taxpayer money. Other countries have set good examples we could follow for handling sex work in a safe and sane fashion. So how do we make a change like that happen? We keep spreading the word and pushing for change until more than half of the public agrees. Then it can all change for the better and save lives. Thanks for being here, and thanks for listening. Be safe and stand your ground. You all get a big virtual hug.
Shirley, thank you so much for enlightening us with so much of information. I've known you for many years, and I'm so amazed to have a person like you, and we have supported each other, and I really like what you have shared about how much we need each other. Thank you so much, Shirley, and a virtual hug to you as well. Over the past 2 decades, Black trans activist and journalist Monica Roberts remained in the forefront of the transgender rights, advocating for equality and legal rights. This also led her to writing a blog that covered the violence against the trans community, but also shared positive changes that uplifted her siblings. Robert's work did not go unnoticed, as she won several awards, including Susan J. Hyde Award for Longevity in the movement at Creating Change in 2019, and Outstanding Blog at the Blog Media Awards in 2018. According to the LGBTQ Interest magazine Advocate, she described herself as a proud and apologetic Black trans woman speaking truth to power and discussing the world around her. We will always remember Monica for her constant fight and mentorship to the young transgender activists. Because of her growth in awareness, she not only brought visibility and acceptance to the community in Texas, but across the world. Now we have another love letter poem from Jody, who is a youth poet and also an advocate from LA.
So my name is Jay, and I use they, he pronouns. I'm non-binary, and I wrote this poem because I've been thinking about Unique, who is the most recently recognized trans person who was murdered by violence. And I've been thinking a lot about trans lives and the erasure of trans lives. And it breaks my heart that, like, this still happens today. This is something we see today. There are lots of forms of violence, and I think it's really important to recognize that. And it doesn't necessarily mean physical violence, but I think it's the small things that we do that can exclude trans lives. And this poem is entitled "The Greatest Gift I Can Give You." When I hear the list grow, I recognize that yes, this, like most things, is a viable thing. I've heard about the number of trans deaths this year so many times. I believe it's the 30-something trans person that is murdered by violence, and frankly, that shit hurts. Because I think about maybe I can walk to a burger joint and yes, they will actually give me my orange bang, and I think about maybe the pavement I walk on at night will actually be enough. It will be enough to hold me. I will be safe because I look like a boy, but I don't feel safer like this. Some days, I do spend time thinking about all the possible ways my life can come to an end. It's never a bullet. It's never the tension you feel when you shake your head and you end up saying, okay. And today, I just feel okay. Maybe today is a reference to my weak smile when there is a kid as young as 8 dictating who I should be, and somewhere there are people praying between their teeth. It's not about the parts. I've come to an understanding that for some, this warmth, this tenderness inside us isn't enough. So here's to today. Here's to hoping that maybe today the world will remember you as you are.
Jody, thank you so much for that poem. It was so inspiring. The words were so much, I felt at heart. Thank you so much for those beautiful, beautiful words. Thank you. Now we'll be closing out this evening with our trans siblings we have lost over the past year, followed by our performance of the night by Red Harmony a cappella group.
Dustin Parker, 25, was an amazing husband and father who took on life with so much hope and enthusiasm that brightened up the lives of those around him.
Alexa, or Nulisa Luciana Ruiz, 29, was known by members of her community as humble and noble.
Yampi Mendez Arocho, 19, shared his love for basketball and the NBA, donning Miami Heat apparel on social media. The biography line on his Facebook reads simply, "Humility prevails."
Monica Diamond, 34, was active in the Charlotte LGBTQ and nightlife community and was the co-owner of an event promotion company. She was also the co-CEO of the International Mother of the Year pageantry system, a pageant that honors LGBTQ mothers.
Lexi, 33, was known as a respectable woman with a beautiful heart. She loved poetry, makeup, and fashion.
Johanna Metzger, 25, was known for her love of music and taught herself to play multiple instruments.
Serena Angelique Velasquez Ramos, 32, was remembered as full of life, a happy person, and a sincere friend.
Leila Pelaez Sanchez, 21, was remembered as an easygoing woman who had been raised by her grandmother and was just beginning to explore the world.
Penelope Diaz Ramirez, 31, loved makeup, fashion, and performing.
Nina Pop, 28, was always happy and deeply loved by her family, friends, and community.
Haley J. Oregon, 20, was proud of her trans identity, and on Twitter she spoke often out against injustice, including the LGBTQ inequality, the prison industrial complex, and the need to decriminalize sex work.
Tony McDade, 38, was known by his friends and family as someone who was energetic and a giving person with a big heart.
Dominique Remy Fells, 27, was known as a unique and beautiful soul.
Rhea Milton, 25, recently posted the status, "Never been scared to struggle. Emma, get it eventually." A comment highlighting her resilience and optimism.
Jane Thompson, 33, was remembered as funny, lively, and an amazing person.
Selena Reyes Hernandez, 37, was loved and admired by many.
Brian Egypt Powers, 43, is remembered for their lively personality, wearing long, colorful braids, unicorn braids, as Powers called them.
Brayla Stone, 17, was a child just beginning to live her life, a child of trans experience, a black girl, a person who had hopes and dreams and plans and community.
Mercy Mack, 22, enjoyed baking and will be remembered by what a beautiful of a friend she was.
Shucky Peters, 32, was remembered as a loyal friend and the life of the party.
Bree Black, 27, lived her life unapologetically to the fullest.
Summer Taylor, 24, a non-binary person who is participating in the Black Femme March in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and against police brutality. Their friends described them as a blinding light in an otherwise dark world.
Marilyn Cesares, 22, was a brave and outspoken person who loved to sing.
Tiffany Harris, aka Dior H. Owa, 32, loved fashion, listing her career as a personal shopper and posting photos with luxury fashion brands that she loved.
Keisha D. Hardy, 22, was extremely loved by her community. Friends and loved ones describe her as loyal, loving, always smiling, the life of all parties, and truly one of a kind.
Aja Raquel Roan Spears, 32, was one of 10 siblings, owned a boutique clothing line, and volunteered at the local nonprofit where she helped kids transition out of their foster care.
Key Sam, 24, will be remembered as someone who lived her life to the fullest.
Arion Burnett, 37, was known for her positive energy. Her friends and family said, if you wanted to have a good day, you need to smile. Arion was the person you wanted by your side.
Mia Green, 29, will be remembered for her contagious smile and the ability to make everyone laugh.
Michelle Michelin Ramos Vargas, 33. Her passion was helping others and was studying to be a nurse.
Felicia Harris, 33, was an interior decorator who ran her own company where she enjoyed lending her eye to improve the surroundings of others and made others feel comfortable in their own space.
Brooklyn Deshuna, 20, was a student studying cosmetology.
Sarah Blackwood, 29, enjoyed playing video games and was a fan of the show My Little Pony.
Angel Unique, 25, was a licensed cosmetologist. Friends and the family of Angel remembered her for being very funny, very nice to everybody she met, and such a bright person with a positive spirit.
Uni Carey, 39, a beloved performer and model from Miami. She had won several beauty pageant titles, including Miss Trans Cuba and Miss Trans Global. Scott or Scotland DeVore, 51, a gender non-conforming person, loved by many, and was known as the best friend anyone could have. Leah Rayshawn Day, 28, a black trans woman from Cleveland who loved spending time with her family, going out dancing, and was an aspiring model.
Don't let me show cruelty, though I may make mistakes. Don't let me show ugliness, though I know I can hate. And don't let me show evil, though it might be all I take. Show me love.
As we come to the end of our event, I want to thank you all for this beautiful and meaningful night. I know this is so much for us to take in, but we had so many beautiful musicians, artists, activists, community partners who shared about their support services. We want to really thank DCVC. We want to thank the Get Loud Movement for the editing and captioning team, along with everyone who's been featured in this event. We want to thank you for every little time that you spent in this event. It's so important for us to cherish these wonderful memories and celebrate ourselves. And we want to thank each and every one of you that this is so important for us, that we want to celebrate ourselves while we are still here. It's so important for us to know that We are here and we want to be celebrated while we are still here. And I know this is going to make such a big difference in the years to come. We don't want these numbers to go high. We don't want any numbers next year. We hope and pray that our trans siblings will not have to be celebrated this way, but we want to celebrate their lives with joy, with dancing, with music, with creativity. And that's how we want to celebrate. Thank you. Thank you so much for this night. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you all.